from my laptop.
No worries. No worries. Okay, let's try keeping it as much productive as possible. So, I checked and marked your exam. You did a great job, and I was able to identify 4 major areas of weakness. So, number 1, I change again device, but I will try texting and writing. So, shifters again, shifters and movers of S&D. Shifters and movers. Okay, doesn't seem to work. And movers of supply and demand. Number 1. Number 2, double shift equilibrium diagrams. Double shift equilibrium diagram or graphs. Then we have elasticity and some exchange rates and intervention policy. So today we will work a little bit around these ones, okay? So now I will give you a couple of prompts and I would like you to tell me what is the effect. Is it going to shift the supply or the demand? Does it move equilibrium price up or down? And what does it make with respect to a country currency? This is more macroeconomics rather than micro, but it is still there in the exams. So I think it is still a good idea to go over it. So first thing, fuel price for consumers increases. What happens here?
1 second, sir.
Yes, please. So I am here. Let me write it. So we have the following: fuel price for consumer increases. What happens? Does the demand go up or down? Does the supply go up or down? Does it move the equilibrium price up or down?
Demand goes down. Supply goes up, resulting in a shortage, in a surplus, I mean. And the equilibrium moves, let's see. So price increase, right? So supply increases, right? To this point here, like this. But that's a decrease.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So look. Since I don't want to waste a lot of time because otherwise we lose on effectivity. And I mean, let me meta question. Are we going to have regular lessons over Christmas holidays, or are you bound to some, I don't know, religious traveling and so on?
No. Everything as
planned. Okay.
Yeah.
So look, more or less half of your errors concern confusing who is affected, and you can write things down here on while I am hand waving. Every event enters economy through either the consumer channel or the producer channel. So if it affects costs, we can write it here. So if let's erase this one, we don't need it actually. So if it affects costs, then it enters through the supplier's channel. If it affects willingness to buy, then it affects the demander, which is the buyers. Okay. So let's go for consumer variables and supplier variables. And then let's talk about it. What about the fuel cost for car owners? Is it here or is it there?
It's a cost, so it's to the left now.
Yes, but for whom? This is the main importance. Rather than, I mean, before understanding whether it is left, right, up, down, in, out, you got to understand clearly what is the curve that is going to shift. Because the next step is going to be double shifts. And unless we can identify, there were questions, by the way, in the exam, I can tell you what was wrong, but I wouldn't like to. I would like to run today's theory. Subsequently, I would like to ask you to redo the paper you did and see the effectivity of today's extra
Okay, let's
theory.
see. Okay. So we have
Fuel
cost and
cost
we have
for car owners. What shifts?
for car owners means for the supply for the consumers.
Yes.
So they would not want to buy it as much. So demand.
Exactly, correct. So here we write fuel cost.
But that's for supply, no?
No.
Oh, C stands for consumer?
Yes.
I thought it stands for cost. Okay, that's why I mix it up.
No worries.
So consumer.
Then let's say that we have an increase of the wage for manufacturers. What happens?
Increase in the wage for manufacturers. They produce more.
So?
Supplier.
Wage up, we write it there.
Mm-hmm.
Say that some scientific research points out health improvement after pineapple consumption. What happens?
Demand goes up.
Exactly. So here we have pineapple research. So examiners, especially in Cambridge, love pairing demands where two events are connected and differently affect demand and supply. For instance, question 10 or 22. Whenever you are facing that kind, we must first identify what curve is moving and then how much. So have a look at the question where we have the pineapple and the short run aggregated supply and aggregated demand. So in that case, both curves moved, right?
Yeah.
So if both, let me that we have shift demand. If both curves move right and we have something like this, what happens?
The
Quantity.
what happens to what? To equilibrium? To
what happens? Just what happens? The first thing is that we have an increase in demand, isn't it? So demand increases. Let's say that this one goes there, and this one wherever it is, no, not like this. So this is one shift and that's the other shift. So If both curves move right, we have indeed a demand increase.
And a supply increase as well.
Well, sure, indeed. Indeed. So, sorry, let me point it out another way. Quantity increase from Q1 to Q2, okay? What about the price?
Stays the same.
We don't know. It depends on which shift is stronger. Because if the supply curve shifts more than the demand curve and it gets up to here,
down.
Then the price goes down, right?
Yeah, like this.
If the demand was to go down, let's take S2, but the demand goes here, then this is gonna be the new equilibrium position, right? So price changes depending on which shift is stronger. Actually, I wanted you to draw this thing, but too bad. Now, let's go to our next topic, which is gonna be welfare intuition, and let's go down here. So, welfare intuition. And then let's make it in black, like this. No. Q, like this. And let's go for black here. Okay. So, when production becomes cheaper, what happens to the supply?
When production becomes cheaper, what happens to the supply?
Yes.
It increases.
Does it move left or right?
When it increases, it moves to the right.
Okay. What happens to surpluses? Always. Hello?
So supply increases.
The supply curve moves right. What happens to surpluses?
Surplus of what? Surplus.
Surpluses. Consumer surplus and producer surplus.
To the consumer surplus, it becomes greater. Right?
Indeed.
And then producer surplus becomes smaller because there's less people that are willing to produce at a lower price because the price itself is lowered now.
Okay. So you got this one correct. And why does this happen? The area under the demand curve expands. You may want to draw it here, you know. Sorry. So you may want to draw it there.
Okay. So demand, that says area something. Area
The area under the demand
under
curve
demand curve
expands.
expands. Area under demand curve. So we have the
Move the
demand.
supply to the right. I already drew it here.
Okay. The area under demand increases. So that, like all that here.
Well, you first want to draw a right shift of the supply.
Okay, let's do that. Right shift to the supply. No, that's demand.
That's demand. You know, if you mark it with the arrow down, it looks like it is going down. So you shall mark it like this.
But I understand that it's just a shift to the right or left. So if it's okay, yeah, I can do that as well.
You know, I am a professor. I saw many people telling me, "Oh, I'm going to understand," and then doesn't make a lot of sense. So
Right,
look,
yeah, let's have black, yeah.
this
Is the price level?
was the first area. So this was the consumer surplus.
Mm-hmm.
What is now the new consumer surplus? Exactly.
Whatever this is.
So like this, isn't it?
The under this, right? So yeah.
So the area below the demand curve expands.
Below the demand, but above the price level, right?
Of course. Of course. Supplier surplus measures the extra benefit of selling units. So namely profit. Profit of for the suppliers or producers. It is not that easy because to see whether the profit increases or not, you gotta have a look at the elasticity of this demand.
Okay, but if we were not considering it, right? This is the surplus we have right now.
No, please, now you are mixing up surplus with consumer surplus and producer or supplier surplus. Because one thing is surplus and shortage, the other thing is consumer and producer surplus. Please don't mix up the two.
No, yeah, right.
Producer surplus is basically is their profit. So all the extra benefit or all the benefit that producers gain from selling at a given price.
It's not this one or this one. It's here, right?
Exactly. What
Yeah.
What is here? What is here?
Producers surplus.
Okay, sure. What is this one? Now, what is this
the
one?
price at which the producers are willing and able to produce.
Are able
No?
to produce what?
The unit.
Which unit? This is the point that you are missing.
The next unit.
Which next unit? The last one. The last one. This is the marginal cost of the last unit. So all the others will generate profit.
So it's sort of the next, but of the last unit.
Exactly. Well, of the next, if you are considering at the position of the last, if you are considering everything together.
Okay.
Okay. MC of the last unit. All the others cost less, but are sold expensive. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when we are talking about monopoly, the monopolist sets the price at its marginal cost. So
Okay.
marginal revenue must be equal to marginal cost.
And the marginal cost is the market cost, basically.
The marginal cost is the cost that the last or next unit costs to the producer.
Okay.
So he will put, if he is a monopolist, he will set the market price at the price of the last unit produced, basically at its cost. Say that it produces 50 units of good. The 50th will be sold for how much it costed. But all the previous 49 will sell more expensive at a higher price than their cost. So they will generate revenue.
Okay.
Good. Now, if the supply curve moves right, it almost always, if not always, increases the supplier surplus or the producer surplus. I am on purpose using both terms so that you don't forget one of them and you don't get confused. Why is producer surplus increasing? And let me go back where we wrote that. It was here. So this is wrong.
And we can see that the previous uh the previous the previous price line, right, for producers. This is the price line for producers, right?
Yeah. This represents the marginal cost for the producers.
Marginal cost, sorry, not price. Yeah, marginal cost. So this is the marginal cost, right? Wow, my pen just stopped working. Cost for P/S.
Yes.
Now it
And
increases.
let me give you another hint here. So its branch greater than the average variable costs is the supply curve.
Okay, so this is our high. This is our top, right? Variable cost. This is our previous one. I just want to make everything straight graphically.
Okay.
So our cost, our marginal cost per producer supplier increases here. It goes up.
No, we are doing the other way around. We are looking at a right shift of the supply curve. Why
Right.
is the supply curve shifting right? For instance, because there is a lower production cost. If suppliers are able to lower the production cost, the supply curve will move to the right.
The marginal cost stays the same.
No? Because you see, now.
Oh, before it was here.
Yes, exactly. That's why I moved the line up.
Okay, so marginal cost before was here, went
Uh,
down.
you know, you can't write MC there. That's the price, not the marginal cost. This is the marginal cost. This one that changes and increases for each unit produced.
Okay. So okay,
Look
so
at this one.
how
Look
do
at
we
this
write it
one,
down?
Hamzat.
I don't.
Look at this one. First, before the technological improvement, suppliers were able to make 70 units at the cost of 100.
Mm-hmm.
Now, since they technologically improved, they are able to produce 120 units at the cost of 100.
Mm-hmm.
But but people this cost modification doesn't change the people willingness to buy. Do you
Mm-hmm.
understand? If it doesn't change the people willingness to buy, then there is no point and no factor moving the demand curve. So the demand curve remains the same, which is this one.
Mm-hmm.
Now people ask themselves, okay, the price became this one. What is the willingness to buy for consumers at this very price? And the answer is this quantity here.
Mm-hmm.
You got it?
Yeah, that's the equilibrium for
That's the
like.
new equilibrium point, equilibrium
Mm-hmm.
quantity and price.
Okay.
The marginal costs for producers went down, so they are able to produce more output at the same conditions. At the same price, they are able to produce more because costs went down.
Okay. All right.
Good. But the demand is not happy for 120 units because the demand curve doesn't change.
Okay.
So the demand curve meets the improved, let's say, supply curve here at, I don't know, 100, for instance.
Okay.
Okay. Now, say that not only did Samsung and Apple improve, actually lower the production costs, being able to lower the price of their phones, but they are able to provide for the very same price batteries running 50,000 milliamps per hour. Wouldn't you buy a phone that the battery of which lasts 2 weeks?
Yeah, I need some clarification. Not really good with amperes.
Okay, sorry. Would you like to buy a phone, the battery of which, a new iPhone, the battery of which lasts 2 weeks, not 2 days, two
Yes,
weeks?
absolutely.
So does everybody. So the willingness to buy for consumers for such a new product would increase as well. And so we are going to draw a new demand curve to the right, like this. Because the original, can you put a D here? No, I will do that. I will do that here. One. And so at the new conditions, the price goes again up. But at this very price, now both consumers and suppliers are happier because both enjoy of mutually beneficial trades. Because
Okay.
in this case, the area below the curves increased clearly for both.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's forget about this 50,000 milliamps per hour battery, and let's go back.
Sorry, below and on top, right? So
Yes, of
below
course.
for
Yes, of course, of
like
course.
here, below for demand, and on top of like supply.
Exactly. Now,
Okay.
delete it for a moment, and let's forget about this one. Why does the supplier surplus increase at this point? So why is a right shift of the supply curve moving our producer surplus up? The answer is very easy, and I will mark it here. So a right shift of the supply curve increases producer surplus because they are selling more unit. They are selling more with lower costs. Of course, the detail must be checked after we calculate elasticity. Details after elasticity. But in general, they sell more with lower costs. So, generally, this is enough to increase their surplus. How can we measure the subsidy cost for the government? Examiners love confusing you with price labels, other labels, etiquettes that are made to draw your attention there where it doesn't need to go. So
Okay.
you only must pay attention to the vertical distance between curves.
All right. With subsidy.
Yes, with the subsidy. What is
What does
this?
subsidy do?
Exactly.
The
What is the
subsidy.
subsidy doing?
So let me just finish writing that down. Oop, why is it blue? Demand 1, supply 1, equilibrium 1. That's our quantity. Wow, my stylus is lagging. Oh, that's because I'm on battery saving mode. 1 second, sir.
Please. I am using again the original device, the Samsung S22 with the external device, but I see that I'm not having the same level of satisfaction from this lesson. So I will go back using 3 devices.
All right. Okay. So the price and the quantity, right?
Yes.
What happens? So, in case of taxation, we know that supply decreases.
No, please, go logically. Try not remembering everything. Sooner or later.
I know that's logically.
No, that's not. No, that's not. You skipped one step. Okay, you don't want to talk about subsidies. Let's talk about taxation. It's really
No. I'm just providing an example, and I can explain it
tax.
perfectly.
What happens with the tax? What happens de facto?
Tax is imposed on the producers.
Okay.
So they tend to produce less.
Why?
Because they don't have enough money. They don't have enough capital to actually.
No. Because otherwise you are not following neither the law of demand nor the law of supply. So if there is a tax, costs go up, which means the price price for the producer goes down and the price for the consumer goes up. So producers get less money. Hence produce less. And we re-equate the demand with the supply with the price of the producers changed by the tax. We made a couple of numerical exercises on this. I suggest you go back at the corner of the board where we actually calculated this, and there will be a higher price for the consumer and a lower price for the producer, and the burden of the tax changes. I mean, is shared by producers and consumers depending on the elasticity of their curve. Do you recall something similar?
Yeah, the tax burden.
Okay. So if the tax lowers the price for the producers, and please, I remind one more time that the price for the producers is as high, I mean, the higher the price for the producers, the better it is for them because they can cover higher production costs.
The price, okay, but I was talking about the cost of the manufacturing. The cost of the manufacturing stays the same, right? So when
Yes.
the price for the units goes down, they can't maintain the same amount of production because the cost of production doesn't go down. So they have
Precisely.
to.
Precisely.
Sorry?
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely.
Okay.
Good. Now that we quickly rechecked what happened with taxes, let's have a look at subsidies,
Okay.
which was one of the weak points of your exam.
Okay.
Let me just make a comment, an extra comment. It is strange when such lessons happen, because it doesn't matter how much theory you think you spread on the pupil. There may always be dots or holes.
Yeah,
and today we are filling in some holes. So, subsidies. What do subsidies?
Okay, subsidies is when a government gives struggling or not struggling, just businesses, firms, money to produce more of a good, usually merit goods.
Okay, correct. So, what happens de facto?
Sorry?
What happens de facto? Subsidies lower production costs.
Yep.
So marginal costs go down.
Yeah, so the producers can lower the cost of the products.
Can lower the price.
Oh, sorry, yeah, the price of the products, yeah. Of the goods.
Price goes down for both. For both. Of course, if you are a wise producer, you face lower costs and you can drop the price. Of course, your costs will fall of the 20%, let's say. You are able to lower the price of the 10% because you are still getting, double extra in this case.
Okay.
So, benefit increases de facto the price for the producer and lowers the price for the consumers. Better to put both down. Otherwise, we can make confusion.
Okay, okay.
So what happens to quantity? Quantity goes up. Can you draw this curve? Can you draw the new supply curve with benefit? With benefit.
Let me try. Let me try. Let me try. The new supply curve with benefit.
Yes.
They will wait logically. I wanted to use my logics because sometimes in desperate moments it's the only thing I have left.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Since you are a man, this is the
um,
only thing you always have left.
yeah. Okay, so supply, right? How is supply affected by subsidies? Step by step. First, government gives the money, the finance, or can I say money?
Yes, of
Because
course.
in business, my business teacher was always like, don't ever say money, say finance or like capital or like whatever.
Okay, let's talk
So
about
money,
cash. You know, they give them cash.
given cash, yeah. Right. So they receive the money, and now they can produce at a lower cost because no, they can supply the cost because they have. This is where like I feel like uh, it's important to realize they don't produce at a lower cost
They do.
yet. They can or they can also not. Hear me out.
Mm.
When they, for example, let's say it's their net worth increase, right? They have more money to spend.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that well, they could maybe put that money into technology to lower the cost of production,
Mm-hmm.
or they can simply supply the same cost production with the money they have.
Mm-hmm.
So the cost you see of production will stay the same, and the net worth they have to spend the revenue. No, it's not revenue because they're given it. It's given, but the money they were given increases their overall net worth, and they could now supply and make more goods at the same production cost. But they could also put the money in technology, blah blah, wages, employees, and lower the cost, which isn't the case in economics. At least this economics. I'm scared to look into AS economics. And then that means that they could supply, supply more. They can supply the same at a lower cost, or they could supply more at the
At the same cost.
at the same cost, right? So if they supply more at the same cost, right? That doesn't that mean they supply less?
Hold on, hold on. You don't know whether they can supply more at the same cost because maybe the demand curve is not coping with that. So in both cases, the supply goes left or right. It doesn't depend. It depends on your wish. In this case, I would like to put it here, and I will show you why. So now let me pick green. So quantity may actually no, I made a mistake. This was the case of taxes.
Yes. It usually like if it goes here, that's why I
Exactly,
was like a bit confused.
exactly.
Isn't it supposed to go here?
Exactly. So it goes there.
Okay.
Good. So now we have a new quantity here. Hold on, give me a break. I will open it. Okay, I'm back. So at this point, how does where is our yes, hold on a second. Must do this one and this one. My device was starting to complain of low battery. So
Yeah, the low battery mode literally kills iDraw. It becomes super laggy. So you should rather stay on the
okay,
full performance mode. Yeah.
exactly. So now I'm still here. What happens to the question here was what is the cost for the government of this benefit? The question is, this was the original price, and this is the new price. So we go until here, actually.
Yeah, I see the vision.
Okay, what is the cost for the government? And the answer is this one, because it is the gap between the two curves multiplied by the new quantity.
Yeah, isn't that the subsidy
You see,
that
this is the
the
subsidy.
government
This is
has
the
to pay?
exactly. This is the cost for the government. So let me write it here. Allora, draw S2 with benefit. The second one is meet the demand curve. And the third one is the cost for, now I'm using the original stylus of Samsung because I'm writing directly on the screen. It's a little bit little for me, but still. The cost for the government is the vertical gap that we can find when we equate the new supply curve with the old demand curve to find the new equilibrium point times the new quantity. But now let's have a look at the surpluses. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the supplier, the producer surplus, and the consumer surplus. Would you like to draw it?
Is it gonna be this? 1 second. So something here, kind of.
You are missing something. Exactly. Not now. You are overdoing now. Below this, exactly. Below the supply curve. So let me do it. Let me do something like this. Like this.
Because this is dead weight loss here already.
No,
This,
not that one.
this.
No, just the second one. Because this one is the expanded consumer surplus. All this. So the dead weight loss is this part here, because all this is the cost paid by the government, but the black triangle over here is, like this one, is money lost because it is paid by the government, but it is not gained neither by consumers nor by producers.
Yeah. Okay.
Good. What time is it? 1:05.
2:02.
1:05. So, did we fill in some gaps?
Yes, definitely. How's it 105? It's 203, no?
Oh yeah, sure. 2:05 almost. Okay, sorry. Okay.
Oh, by the way, sir, do you watch Formula?
No,
Oh, wow. Okay.
I used to look at motorbikes, but long time ago. Now
Okay. Nah, it's because the Formula Grand Prix is about to start like tomorrow. So.
So, concerning tomorrow and the others, please have a redo of this paper, this very paper.
Okay, I'll try to do that.
I don't want to tell you what questions were right, what questions were wrong, but just have a look at the questions with double shift of the curves when two factors alter demand and supply, and send it back to me. It's gonna be a 15 minutes job, so send it over, and on Tuesday we go on with elasticity, with the very same, step by step, all problem solving feature.
Okay.
Good for that?
Yep.
Very good. Excellent. See you on Tuesday then. Have a good Saturday and Sunday.
All right, sir. Thank you. See you then. Have a great day.
If you just one more thing, if you happen to have